Today we're going to be learning one of the highlights of this course, which is the Nashville Number System, or simply the number system. The number system is a way of numbering our chords instead of giving them letter names, so that it's easy to transpose and play in other keys, and it's also easy to communicate with players who might be playing in a different key. For example, a guitar capo would allow the guitarist to sound in a different key, but use the same fingerings of the original key on the guitar. So also if you were playing with like a clarinetist or a trumpet player, their instruments, or even saxophone, their instruments are in different keys. And so you would need a consistent way to be able to communicate with them. So that's the value of the Nashville Number System. So what we're going to do today is start talking about how to number our chords. So you'll remember that we have talked about how we can build a chord on each tone of the scale. So let's say we have a C scale. On each note of the scale, we can build a chord. So on the first note, we build a C major chord, then D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor. And then this here is a B diminished. We don't usually use diminished chords in worship music, so we'll just ignore that for now. So we have 6 main chords that we would use in the key of C. So we're going to write some of this down so we can do some comparison here. So in the key of C, our first chord is C. Our second chord was D minor. Our third was E minor. Then we had F, G, and A minor. So those were our 6 foundational chords in the key of C. Now we can number each of those. So our first chord, the C that's on the first tone of the scale, this is tone number 1 of the scale, we give that a 1. There we go. On the second tone of the scale, we can call it a 2. Sometimes it's best to refer to this as 2 with a lowercase m so that we remember that it's a minor chord. So our 2 chord is minor, our 3 is minor, our F is number 4, and that's major, number 5 is G, and that's also major, and then number 6 is A minor, and that's a minor chord. So as you look at the numbers here, we can refer, in the key of C, we can refer to our 1 chord, which will always be our C chord in the key of C. Our 2 minor is going to be D minor. Our 3 minor will be E minor, etc. So you'll notice we have 3 major chords. Our major chords are 1, 4, and 5. And we have 3 minor chords. Our minor chords are the 2, the 3, and the 6. Now you would not have to have the M by them. When I notate in the Nashville Number System for my songs, I typically do not put the lowercase m there, but to start with, it's definitely a great idea so that you remember that the 2 chord, the 3 chord, and the 6 chord are minor. Now this principle holds true for any key. So let's go look at the key of D. So we've learned the D scale. So in the key of D, our 1 chord is going to be D major, D major. Our 2 chord, the second note is the E, so we're going to build our minor chord on the 2, and our 2 chord is going to be E minor. Notice the 2 chord is always minor. The 3 chord likewise is always minor. So our third note on the D scale is D, E, F sharp, so we're going to build our minor chord on the F sharp. Play every other key in the scale, and we have F sharp minor. Let's go to our 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our 4 chord is G. We play every other note that's in the D scale, and we get a G chord. For our 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we play every other note in the scale, and we get an A chord. And then we come to our 6 minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every other note in the scale. We don't play an F here because F isn't in the scale, F sharp is. So our 6th minor is going to be B minor. Now you'll notice that the chord qualities are the same for the key of D as they were for the key of C. The 2 chord is always minor. No matter what key we have, the 2 chord is always going to be minor. The 3 chord is always going to be minor. And the 6 chord is always going to be minor. The other chords will be major. Let's do this for another key. Let's do this for the key of F. Okay, so we've learned our F scale, which is just like that. It has 1 flat, and that's the B flat. So let's build a chord on each note of the scale. So our 1 is going to be F. There we go. Our 1 is F. Our 2 is going to be G minor. Our 3 is A minor. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, our B flat, because we're in the scale. So in the scale, every other note in the scale is B flat. Our 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's going to be C. And then our 6 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is going to be D minor. All right, let's do this for one more key that might be a little bit more challenging. Let's do it for E flat, since we have some flats in here. So E flat is going to have E flat, A flat, and B flat. Those are going to be our 3 black keys. So our 1 chord for E flat is going to be E flat. Our 2 chord, this is our 2 note. So we play every other note in the scale. So the A flat and then C. So our F minor is going to be number 2. Our 3 chord is going to be G minor. Our 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, is going to be A flat major. The 5 will be B flat major. And the 6 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, every other note in the scale will be C minor. So this is how you can find the numbers of every chord in the scale. So what I would recommend that you do is make a chart just like this for the majority of the keys. You don't have to do it for every single key, but for the majority of the keys, I recommend that you make a chart like this. And then drill yourself. Say, I'm in the key of C, and just call out chords. You can make flashcards if that works better for you, but just call out chords and say, okay, the 4 chord. What is the 4 chord in the key of C? And then see if you can find it. What is the 6 chord? See if you can find it. What is the 2 chord? See if you can find it. And do that for several different keys to get yourself familiar with the numbers in each key. And then in the next lesson, we're going to be talking about how to use the Nashville Number System in worship music.